Currently, as of me recording this, we're a day removed from the Xbox Developer _ Direct. So let's actually talk about and recap what was shown, talked about, and what has happened. Starting off with the first thing being Doom: The Dark Ages, which is coming out on May 15th, 2025. And this is, of course, a follow-up to Doom Eternal, which came out the same week as, or the same day as the last Animal Crossing that it released. And so we saw a lot of artwork featuring the Doom Slayer and characters from Animal Crossing, like Isabelle, for example. It looks really cool. I'm very excited to play it. Few things to keep in mind that are very important is that the game is coming out on Xbox Series S, X, Xbox app for Windows PC, Steam, so it's going to be on a couple of launches on PC, PS5, and you can play it day one with Game Pass. Now, very important thing to keep in mind is that while Phil wanted to keep Doom: The Dark Ages as an Xbox and PC exclusive, so keeping it away from PlayStation, it was actually the head of id Software that wanted to release the game on PS5 as well. He said he wanted his games to be on more platforms than ever before. This was definitely something that was reported on previously, so I feel like that's definitely worth mentioning. And a big thing that people are saying is that Xbox really, cooked with this Direct, really did a lot of good stuff. And they did do a lot of good showing off the games that they did. But there's one very prevalent factor that I want you guys to keep in mind as I'm going through each of these games, and it might become more and more obvious as we're going through each game. That being said, however, Doom: The Dark Ages looks absolutely incredible gameplay wise. I have nothing but good things to say about Doom. It's always been a fun game and a game that I always go back to. I feel like if I tried to create any sort of device, all of them are going to run the original Doom. So changing up the weaponry significantly in order to change up that sort of gameplay aspect, there was a lot more platforming elements to something like Doom Eternal compared to Doom 2016. Doom 2016 was, of course, a overall reboot to the original Dooms that we got. And even though we did get a Doom 3 back in 2004, was just trying to take horror and going through dark corridors, and every time you did something, multiple doors would open up behind you, showing more of Hell's buggery squadron, so to speak. So there's a few bits and pieces there. I feel like Doom has been through iterations. You've got Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 64. Then you have Doom 3, which is much different from those other Dooms, and instead it leans more into the horror elements of it. Another thing is that when it came to Doom 2016, which was much later, it was an attempt to completely reboot the entire franchise as a whole. Then on top of that, we then get its sequel, Doom Eternal, which is more platformy puzzle shooter rather than just being able to turn off your brain and shoot. And so now we're going to more melee focused combat with Doom: The Dark Ages. I'm liking the whole going into more sort of melee attacking format, because that's how I prefer to play in most class-based structures, is the guy who can take a ton of hits but also be able to dish out just as much damage. So it's going to be interesting to see how the weapons and everything like that actually shake up the gameplay for Doom: The Dark Ages. With that being said, however, actually it's supposed to be a prequel to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. So they're creating their own timeline whereby you have Doom 2016, which is the reboot, then you have Doom Eternal, which is the sequel, and then Doom: The Dark Ages is then a prequel to Doom 2016. Interesting, okay. I wonder why I call it The Dark Ages. That's certainly something that will be interesting to see. Next we have is South of Midnight, which is launching or coming out April 8th, 2025, coming out on Xbox Series S and X, Xbox app for Windows PC, Steam, and Cloud, and you can play it on day one with Game Pass and all the other good stuff. Another important thing to keep in mind is when it comes to playing games on Cloud, you need to have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to use Cloud. So just kind of worth putting that out there, and I'm sure Xbox is more than happy to increase the price later on. So this trailer is by Compulsion Games, who are making South of Midnight. Now this game was, I think, delayed into 2025, or maybe they never actually gave a launch date to begin with, but it's pretty much a story based, like, sort of third person action game, and they show off a lot of characters, story, whatever they want to show, I guess, in this trailer. I think easily this might be the most uninteresting game of the lot, in my opinion, just because I'm not really vibing with the game itself. And there's also like news going around that maybe this game might not actually be as good as people make it out to be. And also, South of Midnight specifically is the exception against the very thing I'm going to be talking about pretty much, I think, closer to the end of the video. But yeah, it looks alright. And also, even though it looks kind of framey, I think it might be because of the art style and the animation style that they've implemented, because it does feel like, mouths moving don't feel as smooth or something like that. But I think that might purely be just from an artistic point, for example. But yeah, it's supposed to take place like in a fantasy version of the South part of North America, so to speak. So sure, if you're into that type of thing, absolutely go ahead. I can't say that I'm one of those people, but hey, it is what it is. Next we have is Clair Obscure Expedition 33, which is coming out April 24th, 2025. This one is coming out Xbox Series S and X, Xbox App for Windows PC, and you can play day one on Game Pass. Now, Expedition 33 actually looked quite interesting. It was taking the format that you would expect to see for a JRPG, but instead it looks way better. Rather than having an animated art style, it has more sort of a realistic style to like the character designs, and still having a sort of turn-based, a turn-based combat system, which seems like an interesting idea, and then adding elements that you would expect to see from a Paper Mario or a South Park turn-based RPG, where you've got different button presses that you can do during attacks and skills in order to do more damage, turning each attack into like its own sort of mini game that you do each time you use the attacks. It is possible that could get boring or very annoying later on, but it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing goes. Again, it's a turn-based RPG that takes place in a fantasy version of late 19th century France. So I do wonder, what does that location look like in this world that they're trying to create? That does seem like an interesting premise, interesting location. I don't actually know what the premise is, but I'm sure they'll be able to cover it fairly quickly in the game. Or maybe the game is going to be much longer than expected. I'm not too sure. They didn't actually mention anything about how long the game is going to be. But if these turn-based games were a bit shorter, maybe more people would be able to get into them, because I feel like, South Park: The Stick of Truth certainly proved that, because the Stick of Truth, you can complete 100% of the, if you beat the game, it'll take you 10 to 12 hours. 15 hours if you try to complete everything in the game, like complete all the side quests, find Jesus, finish the story, play all the mini games, find all of the garages and stuff, like all the collectibles. Like, that all is stuff that can be done within 24 hours. It's not 24 hours, 15 hours of game time. So shorter turn-based RPGs do in fact have a place in the gaming industry and an audience that would buy them. Expedition 33 looks really interesting, though. I'm probably going to wait for reviews before I jump into it. Where, say, something like Doom the Dark Ages, I'm just going to jump to it straight away because I know exactly what I'm going to be getting out of it. What really stuck out was the mystery game that was announced. So we had 3 developers, and we knew what games those developers were working on, but there was a mystery one regarding the return of a legendary Japanese franchise, and it just so happened to be the fact that Ninja Gaiden 4 is launching in fall 2025 on Xbox Series S and X, Xbox App for Windows PC, Steam, Cloud, PS5, and you can play day one with Game Pass. Now, Of course, Xbox is still doubling down on Game Pass, so this is very much a third-party edition. Ninja Gaiden 4 looks absolutely incredible. And I'm going to be making a completely separate video regarding Ninja Gaiden, because the thing about Ninja Gaiden is actually very interesting. Because we had Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, 3. Now these 3 games were reboots of the original Ninja Gaiden games that came out on the NES. But the thing is that Ninja Gaiden 3 was an awful game. When I say an awful game, I mean it was buggy, it was glitchy, it was an absolute mess of a game. But now with Ninja Gaiden 4 being worked on by the guys like that, pretty much is being made by Platinum Games, this is only going to be very good. And keeping in mind that people say, Dark Souls is an incredibly tough franchise of games. No. Dark Souls has got nothing on Ninja Gaiden, in my opinion. Trying to play through Ninja Gaiden on Master Ninja difficulty is incredibly difficult, but then when you do the ninja trials, my god, they will test you to an extent I don't think anyone could honestly ever predict. So honestly, I'm not going to talk too much into Ninja Gaiden 4 because there is so much material for me to make a separate video on it, talking about Ninja Gaiden 3, talking about Ninja Gaiden and the Ninja Gaiden Sigma games, the release timelines, the Metacritic, and then the bugs and glitches of Ninja Gaiden 3. I feel like there's a lot that I can say about that. I have full confidence that Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to do very, very well. I do feel like it is going to be a highly polished product, and I do believe that if you are not into the Ninja Gaiden games, that this may get you in. The only reason why I say it may not is because it can be incredibly tough, but that's only if you choose for it to be, because obviously you have difficulties you can choose from at the beginning of the game. Devil May Cry is a very, very good game series. Ninja Gaiden 4 is very much in that same path. Like, doing an Izuna drop every 5 seconds is how you get by in most Ninja Gaiden games at this point, which is square, square, triangle, square, square. Like, you don't forget that sort of thing. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4 looks absolutely incredible. The gameplay looks great, and I just want to pull apart not just the gameplay trailer, but again, like Ninja Gaiden, I could make an entire video on just this game alone. With that being said though, we also got Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is the definitive version of the 360 release of Ninja Gaiden, not to be confused with the PS3 version Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, or Sigma 2, I can't remember where the Sigma falls. I think it's actually Sigma 2, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, which is the second game in the reboot of the original Ninja Gaiden, just putting that out there. Dropping today, it is currently out, and it doesn't say it on here. It's on Xbox Series S and X, Xbox app for Windows PC, and it is also on PS5. I want to put that out there. You can buy it on PS5 right now as well. So, the important thing that I was wanting to mention is, yes, Xbox did incredibly well with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, Ninja Gaiden 4, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, South of Midnight looked kind of rubbish to be completely honest, and Doom the Dark Ages. Without a shadow of a doubt, all of these games are great, except for South of Midnight. I don't know why anyone would be into that. It doesn't look particularly good if I'm being honest, but that's just me. That being said, however, Doom the Dark Ages, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Ninja Gaiden 2 Black are all out on PS5. South of Midnight, Expedition 33 are not though. So, it's clear to me that, like, okay, Ninja Gaiden 4, third-party title, Doom the Dark Ages was pushed by, what's it called? Pushed by, hold on, wait, is Expedition 33 coming out on PS5? Because I think, if I look at the, developer direct, let me just do a quick search on this. Expedition 33 PS5? Oh, I can't spell. Yeah, Expedition 33 is also coming to PS5. So you know what? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. South of Midnight is the only game that's not coming to PS5. Hold on, is it? Let's actually have a look. No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, okay, so Will South at the time of writing, there's no plans yet. So, as of right now, yes. So, no, South of Midnight is not coming to PS5. So, Doom the Dark Ages is, Expedition 33 is, Ninja Gaiden 4 is, and Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which drops today, or the day that the direct happened, did in fact come out. So, what is Xbox doing? I feel like, is this a win for Xbox, or is this a win for gamers in general? Because I feel like no matter what platform you play on, you will be able to play these games regardless. So nothing has truly changed, if I'm being completely honest. I can't see how this is a win for Xbox. They did do a great showcase. They showed off some excellent games, except South of Midnight. I feel like I need to keep saying that. But the thing is that all of these games are also out on PS5. So it really does kind of make me wonder, why omit that information from Expedition 33's paragraph here, because it actually has no mention of PS5. Yeah, it's just got the Xbox stuff here and PC and Game Pass. See developer website for other platforms. Sure enough. Yeah, so I just thought that was incredibly funny to actually see that, because I didn't notice that until I looked at it again. I was like, I'm pretty sure Expedition 33 is also coming out on PS5, but yeah. So with all that being said, however, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Pretty much that's the main thing I wanted to point out, was all of these games are coming to PS5 except South of Midnight. But yeah, I thought I was just going crazy when I was watching the Xbox Direct and seeing the PS5 logo way too many times to count, but that's just me. With all that being said, however, let me know what you guys think about not just the Xbox developer_direct, but also what are your thoughts on the fact that most of these games are actually coming out on PS5. I'd be interested to know what you guys think about all of this, but with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.